today on our podcast. And when we were rehearsing this topic this morning, we came across a kind of surprising truth to both of us. We immediately could feel into that there are multiple sides to trust. There is self-trust in your business and in your community. And so Kate's coming in right now, and we're very excited to share with you what we began to land on as the important, variables within the trust experience is what I would call it. So, hey, Kate, good morning.
Good morning.
What's up with the volume here? I can't hear you very well.
Can you
There.
hear me now?
Now I can. Yeah,
Okay.
now I can. I think it was just my AirPods. Yeah.
Mhm.
So two sides to trust, or two.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more than two, but we are thinking about today and thinking about the clients that we work with and just businesses overall. I kind of boiled it down to two
Hmm.
areas of trust,
Hmm.
self-trust and trust from your clients, getting trust from your clients and community.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
decided, I don't know if you shared this part yet. We decided to just tackle one of them today.
Yeah, and I said to Kate that I sometimes these topics they seem to sort of pick themselves in our
Mhm.
podcast. They do kind of choose themselves. And one of the things that's kind of wacky about my brain is that I can go off in multiple directions on these topics. And so when Kate and I were talking about it, I was like, wow, there's a lot there, between if we pick just one area. So we said to each other, is this a chicken or the egg experience? Like
Mhm.
if we are talking about self-trust, would it make more sense to talk about trust in our community and trust in our business? And I think that actually felt to us like sort of a newbie perspective. Even though we didn't say this, Kate, that's kind of what came through to me, because I can imagine having the feeling of, well, I'll believe, in myself more when the world proves it to me, right?
Right. Right.
When my business shows me, or my life shows me, like, yeah, you're valid, you're reliable, you're worthy. These are some of the things that we see from people on the
Mhm.
daily, really. But I don't think anybody is going to actually be surprised when we say we came back to self-trust.
Yeah.
Self-trust is the thing to cultivate first.
Yeah, because it's what you build inside of yourself. You don't um I feel like it's stronger. Maybe that's the right term. You'll have stronger trust when it comes from belief within than from validation from others.
Mm,
And so that's why it's the priority.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It has to be,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be. And the businesses that we work with, um, generally always come from a dream that is cultivated internally for a person.
Hmm.
Sometimes they feel like it's a gifted vision, or it's an outgrowth of discomfort that they're experiencing in another profession or another business. It may even be another business that they have, right? They feel pulled into, this works, but I'm
Right.
evolving out of that, and I want to do this other thing over here.
Yeah.
And
Like I'm feeling called to go to this
mhm,
next level or visit, this,
mhm.
what I've seen over here. So, yeah, I think in order to make those jumps, you have to trust yourself. You
Yeah,
have to
you do.
trust, yeah, yourself, your gut, and that is very much a muscle that gets
Yes.
built.
Yeah, it's a muscle. And you were saying in rehearsal, which I love, that it's like going to the gym, right? Like
Mhm.
you can't.
Your muscles are not that muscle is not going to get stronger if you don't consistently work at it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, but cultivating self-trust around a business um, is challenging for
Mhm.
women. It's very challenging. And I would say part of that is because reaching out like basically strengthening your business's vision and output, that's masculine energy. And that takes, like, it takes fire to do it. It takes,
Mm-hmm.
it takes like, I think the Sanskrit word is Agni, I think. Yeah, so it's Agni. So it takes fire to make things happen in your business. And if it's new, then, think about starting a campfire, right? I grew up in Alaska, so it's very easy for me to think about is, you
It's
know,
not.
you can't,
It's hard. It's scary.
you can't start a campfire by putting logs
Mhm.
down, that you can't light them on fire. You have to use kindling, maybe newspaper. And so it takes, and then,
I'm just thinking about that first time I realized that. And to be very honest, it was really recent.
oh, really?
I'm not from a camping family at all. That was not. I don't think I would bet money that my parents have never camped ever. Um, but we did a road trip a couple years ago over the summer and we camped for most of it and I had to learn. And so yeah, I was in my 30s when I learned that.
Learned how to build a fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my God, what a perfect analogy for cultivating trust. And I think that that actually points to, quite honestly, mistakes that people will make,
Mm,
in their business, like, um, the investing in the wrong kinds of things. And this is something you talk about all the time, Kate, right?
mhm.
Not focusing on what's actually going to move the needle in your
Yeah.
business. You're not focusing on the money generating activities. You're spending way too much, like choosing a Pantone color for your branding, or thinking about, putting your Pinterest board together. And that's important.
Well,
Like I've
yeah, they are important. And those I get it. I get like stuck in that stuff too. It's fun, it's creative, it's like, and it feels easier on our brains. And there's definitely space for that in a business. And you also have to build your foundations, which tends to be a little bit harder, but they are so worth it and needed in the long run. That's what sustains your
well,
business long term.
I'm going to go farther than what you just said. Worth it and needed. No, they're essential. Like
They're
they're,
they're
I mean,
mandatory.
yeah, they're necessary. Like you have to have a
Yeah.
frame. You can't. I mean, any of us who've watched a home be built, they.
Mhm.
This is, you guys are
We'll
probably like,
frame
come
it
on,
out.
you're getting boring, Shannon. But you have to dig. You dig the hole for the foundation, and you build the frame. And so within the experience of growing your business, really at any phase. Like we work with entrepreneurs at a variety of stages in their business
Mhm.
and at every level. What do they say? In coaching, we often say new level, new devil. New level, new devil, because you're going to get mind gremlins, you're going to get noise, you're going to get challenged. And so cultivating a set of practices, that's my side of the equation, you guys,
Mhm.
is cultivating a set of practices that nourish you, okay, that
Mhm.
protect you, that honor you. And one of those practices, and this is a place where Kate and I really align and where our services actually address this, is you have to have a place where you can be vulnerable.
Mhm.
It's
It's
vital.
mhm.
It's
It
vital.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, being vulnerable is how you start to build trust with yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of a mic drop right there, really.
It
Mm-hmm. And
is, yeah, it's the honesty. It's the looking within and the like levels you will reach when you're just honest with yourself are huge. And I realize that that's also a big ask. It's hard. It's not easy to say, oh, I'm like really actually like it's one of my weaknesses. But facing it and either, learning to tackle it or having help with it is going to take you so much further than just burying it and ignoring it.
and again, I'm going to expand on what you said because I think you're underplaying your point, and I say that with love, but I think that it's not just that you're going to go farther. It's basically that is actually a vital piece of what your business wants from you
Mhm.
because, in my opinion, and I think you agree, Kate, like oftentimes the ideas for these businesses or their expansion are
somewhat divinely led. It's like, I have to do this. I'm called to do this.
Hmm.
And so when we are called into something, whatever it is, and it can be, you guys, as pedestrian as like graphic design or, a food cart. Like, it's not every single business we work with is like some soul-led personal development thing, though we do those.
To be
Okay.
fair, though, food and graphic design can be very soul-led. So it is
Very soul-led. Yes.
any type of business.
You're right. Thank you for that correction. That's a really important one. It's an important one. And so the challenges that you're going to have within that experience, that might feel like, I have to keep this part of me hidden, like I can't let this part of me be in the business, whether it be my fear of visibility, my
Mhm.
anxiety, my dyslexia, like I don't know how to, I don't know how to write properly. Like whatever it is, I'm disorganized. So like we see it
Mhm.
all. Okay. And,
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed in my personal life. I'm sick. My partner's sick. There's somebody dealing with addiction. I mean, I can go on and on and on, you guys, and there's whatever that is, the seeds of your absolute exponential evolution are in being honest with yourself about that. And if it's a place where you need support, which all of us do, that's how humans evolve, then being vulnerable and being like, I'm still me, this wondrous soul, but also I have this thing, this part, this icky thing.
And I think part of just bringing it back to self-trust is like when you acknowledge it, you're strengthening your trust. You're saying to yourself, I am this, beautiful, wonderful, soul-led human being, and I have these other things happening in my life, and I'm still myself. I still
Right.
trust me.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
love that. I feel that in my body, where you can, instead of feeling like this is part of me,
mhm,
this is a thing that's part of me, you feel like this is all of me. This is,
right.
I am only that thing, right?
Yeah, right. That's very, very true. And that
Hmm.
is, something that, showing up for yourself consistently and acknowledging it, being vulnerable with it can really, grow you and really
Mm.
grow into that next level.
Yeah. I mean, the master teachers say, um, that the 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 key to self-evolution is to fall deeply in love with yourself, because that moves us closer to oneness. And so, we are here to help people make money, like have more spaciousness in their lives, like create these lovely businesses that they can watch grow. And yet the businesses, as with anything in life that you really allow to inform you, they are teaching tools. And so the teaching tool that you're
They sure
invited
are.
into when you're, they really, really are, right? They really are. And so the teaching tool that you're invited into when you are challenged to trust yourself, or to trust that you can be seen for your whole self, the teaching tool is, I am lovable even with, or this
Mhm.
part of me is the most lovable. I will tell you guys, I wasn't even going to share this, I didn't tell Kate, but I've had moments, I've definitely struggled with anxiety over the years, and it's not my favorite thing about myself, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. It's not. But one of the things that I begun to honor about having anxiety is that sometimes I think that anxiety is almost the best part of me, because it's teaching me where I can open up and allow more love in. It's teaching me.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking about it yesterday. I was talking with my coach about it, the four, different parts of your body. And anxiety comes up for me as well. Just talking about, those moments when I feel anxious, acknowledging it and leaning into the opposite. So leaning
Mm,
into the what brings me joy and peace, and
mm-hmm,
taking time to focus on that
mm-hmm,
to gain some balance.
mm-hmm. And I don't know if this is true of you, Kate, but what I found to be true for me of anxiety was that I was not permitting myself to have
Mhm.
joy. And just less than a year ago, I learned that the chakra that's connected to joy is this same chakra that's connected to that. It's connect like the healing of that chakra is the healing of the chakra that has anxiety is um, is joy. It's experiencing joy. And about 6 years ago, my appendix ruptured, and it's that chakra. It's like not experiencing enough pleasure, experiencing too much anxiety. That's what created that experience for me, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I
never
know. What
really,
a
I mean, it makes
lesson.
sense that there's
Yeah.
a relationship there.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
So
go
one
ahead.
of the things that I was saying to Kate is that I learned this quote some years ago. It was actually taught to me by my very first coach. The idea that the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, and taking ownership of your business in a way that says, I am the leader, like I am in this essentially masculine role, right? I am owning the business, I'm owning decisions about the business, does require that we allow ourselves to learn to be supported and learn to be vulnerable. But the place that it makes the most absolute sense is like, I believe in myself. I believe I can do this. I believe I am meant to do this. And that's about self-trust.
Yes, you need that self in order to make those decisions, in order to, show up in the best possible way for your business, for your team, for your clients, for, in your business, and that bleeds into your life. So, and vice versa. So just showing
Yeah.
up fully for yourself. And I think when it comes to, you know, when it comes to self-trust, I always One I always talk about, it's a muscle and it should starts with consistency. So, what is like one thing that you can commit to showing up for in your business? And the more you do it, the more trust you have in yourself. Like if you commit to sitting down 4 days a week at your computer to do your marketing or write your blog post, something. But every day from 11 to 12, you're showing up and doing it and you do it, you build that. You build that trust with yourself. And I think as humans, we're like, yeah, duh, that makes sense. That's so easy. But, I'm sure you know this more than anyone, Shannon, and I see it with clients too. It's like it's so easy to like bring that self-sabotage in and say, oh, I like this is more important. This, Pinterest board I'm building is more important. This,
Mm-hmm.
and then you stop showing up for yourself and you're wondering, why your self-trust is low.
Yeah, that's such a sweet thing to say, really, because no one wants to self-sabotage. Like no one,
No.
no. And like maybe you struggled in college and you had a habit of procrastination because classes were hard, or maybe there's a deliverable in your business that just really is difficult for you
Yeah.
to accomplish. Marketing is a challenge for a lot of people that we work with because we work with these heart-centered women who frankly often have throat chakra issues. We include ourselves in that equation. And so it can be difficult, like to speak your truth, even if you know it in your soul, and so you'll avoid the most practical things. But the solution to this, really, like the way to cultivate self-trust, is to recognize that where you have discomfort is an invitation to be supported and loved. And the first place that you find that support and love is in yourself.
Yeah.
It's in yourself. And so on Kate's side, we think consistency.
Hmm.
It's like marking that time in your calendar from 11 to 12, you're going to work on, I call it your MGA, your money generating activities.
Right.
And on my side of the equation, it's like cultivating a practice that helps build your love for yourself, because love for yourself informs how your business impacts you, impacts your team, impacts your clients, and really your entire community and world.
Yeah. It's so true. It starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. And it's,
then,
yeah, keep going. Yeah, tell me.
well, that I was gonna say, and then part two of this conversation, probably for next week, will
Yeah.
be, that once you trust yourself, it's much easier to bridge that trust with your community and your clients. because it's coming from a place of, it's coming from you. It's coming from your honesty. It's coming from who you are. It's coming from
Yeah.
lived experience.
Well, I mean, this takes me back to the experiences I used to have listening to How I Built This, which was my favorite podcast for a very long time. And I think it's a great podcast for, it's like entrepreneurial 101, basically. You do,
Mhm.
you know, whatever business you're in, I would encourage you to go and take a look at the titles and those podcasts and pick a business or two you're curious about and follow their story. Because one of the most important parts of that podcast is that Guy Raz chooses as an interviewer to not just be like, okay, they were, you know, on the garage floor eating peanut butter sandwiches and then they got, you know, VC money in the trillions. It's the inflection points in the decisions of the entrepreneurs. It's where did they find the strength to keep going,
Mhm.
and why did they keep going? And it always comes back to they had a vision for the help that was going to be provided by what the thing was that they were trying to sell. You know, skincare products that help with severe rosacea, or you know, like even Spanx, like that was created to solve a very specific problem. So and Bumble, really, which is a very interesting, you know, created out of frustration by someone who wanted to find a lover. So where you are on your knees feeling like I cannot go on, I cannot do this, like I do not want to do this, or my business is disappointing me, it is hurting me, you know, these are all feelings that we have, just so you guys know. Like if you
Mhm.
are in business and you haven't had these experiences yet, then you probably got into business yesterday. Okay, because everybody has these moments. And
Mhm.
what you want to do is you come back to, I believe in this. I believe in this service. I believe in in wanting to take care of people and, you know, give them facials, or wanting to create a restaurant that nourishes people, or wanting to, you know, build my design skills out in a different way, serving people who are more visionary. Like whatever it is, your desire is that, you know, yeah, your desire is what is going to carry you forward, and that comes from having love for it, right? And love comes from you trusting it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you said that beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's so
Yeah.
true. It is, you carry that vision and you trust in that vision
Yeah,
fully.
you trust in it. So, you know, we weren't going to give any homework, but I think I am going to give you guys a little bit of homework today. So if you've made it this far with us and you don't currently have a vision, then I would really encourage you to sit down and write it out. I can tell you from my practice, meaning my coaching practice, the clients I'm working on, the ones who are getting results right now, they have written visions that they
Mhm.
revisit regularly. And when I say regularly, I mean pretty much daily, you know. And for some people, it's a digital Pinterest board. For some people, it's a printed, what do you call it, vision board. You know, for some people, it's written. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. But you crafting that is a conversation with the divine part of you. So if you don't have a vision, then, or yours is getting a little dusty, then take a few minutes to update it, you know,
Yeah,
build it out. Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
revisit it. Revisit it.
hmm Revisit it regularly because it's energetic. Like think about going to a cabin in the woods, which apparently Kate's never done. Um, you're going to a cabin in the woods and you
Now
walk
in my
in.
adult life, and now
Okay,
on.
now you do it. Now you do it. But you know, when you go into a cabin, like if you haven't been in that cabin for a while, then you can feel that the energy is stagnant. Like you have to open it up. You have to feed it. You have to, you know, put the tablecloth on the table and turn on the stove and stuff like that. And it's the same with anything energetically. So cultivate a vision that you regularly revisit. You can change it all the time, you know, but
Yeah,
just stay with it. Like it can be dynamic, but just make sure that you're spending time paying attention to it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. And that showing up every day to revisit it, to look at it, that's building trust with yourself.
that's right. It is. That is, you know, trust is a muscle, as Kate said.
Hmm.
So trust really speaks so succinctly about consistency, you know,
Yeah.
and practice. This is something one of the things we said in rehearsal is like, this is one of the places, one of the topics we've talked about where basically our advice is exactly the same.
It's the same.
Like it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So consistency and practice. Now, the reason you guys, one of the reasons that we love to do this podcast is because we found it to be very much an honor to work together. Like our two skill sets are a unique mix. And we work with clients in a very special kind of container that we call Resourced. It is a 4-month program for an entrepreneur who's working to scale. And if you would like to learn about that program, it's a really exciting way to have a fractional team in your life for 4 months. So it's a short period of time. There's an enormous amount of support. It's flexible. And we would love for you to learn more about that container. Anything you want to add to that, Kate?
Yeah, we really work on, for the tangible aspect of it, we work on getting you in a place where you're bringing a core vision or to life. And all the things that go into that. So working through your mindset around it and working through the operational pieces to it, the tech side of it, which is not the fun or fancy things, but they make your life easier. And just
Yeah, it's
really bringing that piece of your business to life or
we
taking
just
it to the next level.
taking it to the next level. We developed this because we see how complex it can be. I mean, it's not how complex it can be. It is complicated. And so what we offer is a really unique recognition of that, that it is complicated to build it out, and it is challenging, and it does take a lot of agni, and you need support. And so if you would like to learn more about that, if you're working on an idea or an evolution in your business, there's a lot of flexibility within the structure of this container, and it's smart and efficient. So we would just love to share the details with you. Yeah.
Yes, reach out to either one of us
Yep.
here on Instagram. Or this does go up on YouTube, so in the
Yeah.
comments below.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kate, for your time this morning.
Thank
As always, a
you.
pleasure.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.